Okay, so the arc length is going to be r theta. And if you're given, the theta has to be in radians. If you're given the theta in degrees, you have to multiply by pi over 180. So degrees to radians, you have to multiply by pi over 180. Yes. So, right here, this already has a pi in it, so this is in radians already. So to find the arc length, I'm going to take r times theta. So I'm going to take 5 pi over 6 times 3. So everybody pick up your handy dandy calculator. And so one of the cool things about the handy calculator you have, if you type it in just like this, it will give you the answer. So first of all, everybody make sure you can find the pi button. You have to use that shift button. Yeah. 5 pi over 6 times 3. So it's 15 pi over 6, and when that reduces, it reduces then to 5 pi over 2. Does everybody see that on your calculator? So that's an exact answer, 5 pi over 6. So I want it, though, with the decimal. So find the button on your calculator, and it's right under the cosine button, and it has S and an arrow to the D. Click it. That changes it to the decimal form of the answer. And so we're going to write our answers to the thousandths. And for those of us that aren't quite clicking today, that means 3 decimal points. Okay, 3. So what do you get for an answer here? Somebody multiply for me. I didn't write it down. 4. Okay, and that's feet, because we're talking about how long around the outside of the circle is that. Okay, so these are all in radians because they have pi. Number 5, if you look, that's in degrees. I need this degrees in radians before I can use it. So if this is my formula, my radius is 8.4. My theta is 15, and to change that to radians is pi over 180. So you need parentheses around all that stuff, and type it in and push that S to D, and go to 3 decimal points, and you get your answer. Joseph, you better sit up and do this. You are not listening to me. So pick up your handy dandy calculator and do that. And that's meters. Okay. So everybody's okay with that? So on number 9, when it says the central angle in a circle of radius 6, so here's my R, has an intercepted arc length of 10. So this is my S here. The 10 is an S. This one is my S. It says find theta in radians and degrees. So if I put 10 equal to 6 theta, the first theta I'm going to find is in radians. So when you divide this, what do we get? Right. But what is that in, like, exact your, what is it? Okay, so that is in radians. 1.6 repeating. So now I need to convert my 5 over 3. So this is radians, so I need it in degrees now. So degrees, So to go from degrees to radians, I do pi over 180. To go the other way, we just flip it upside down. So this is times and I got 95.493. Yeah? I just wrote the 49. Okay. Is everybody okay? This is easy peasy, right? Okay, next one. It's not harder. What did you guys get over here? I just wrote 07. Is there a 0? Oh, no wonder I only wrote that. Okay, so everybody okay? Okay, so one last thing then. So now we've talked about the length on the outside, the crust. So now we're going to do the inside, and the inside just follows area equals 1/2 r squared theta. And the theta still has to be in radians. So the first one is in degrees, right? So if I do A equals 1/2 4 squared 74 times pi over 180. That changes it to radians, and now you can get your answer. So everybody multiply. If you put all of this in parentheses, you can just multiply it straight in your calculator, and it'll push the S to D button, and it'll give you the answer. Oh yeah, it is 10. 10.3. What did you get? Is it? I only have 10.33. And this is area, so this is centimeters squared. So do I need to work number 14? It's the same, but all we do is just multiply these two together, right? We're okay with that? Okay, so let's look at 16. That's the last word problem because we're not doing 17. So the area of a sector of a circle with a central angle is 240 degrees. So this is my theta, but it's in degrees, right? So that has to go to radians. And the area, this is my area. So it's asking me to find the r this time. So I'm going to have 134 equals 1/2 r squared. My theta is 240, but I have to multiply by pi over 180. So what do I have to do to solve this? So there's a couple, bless you. There's a couple different ways to do this. If you take the 134 and divide by, in parentheses, 1/2. Everybody do that. 134 divided by parentheses 1/2. So that should give you 268 on your calculator. Did everybody get that? Divided by, in parentheses, 1/2. Okay, so it should be 268 on your calculator. Now take that and divide it by 240. Now take that and divide by, in parentheses, pi over 180. Because we're dividing. This is all multiplying, so you have to do the opposite, which is divide. So now that answer is equal to r squared. So what do I have to do? You have to take the square root of that answer.